Dre Nitty.
We talk about mind, body, and soul, right? And so we're gonna have them introduce themselves and then ask some questions, all right?
How y'all doing? My name is Jared Grant. As you know, I'm a political science professor. I teach at Georgia State as well as Clark Atlanta. I've been in holistic health for at least over 30 years. I'm vegan. Had my son at home with the midwife. Took herbal classes. Took you name it. Took gemstone classes. I practice Ifa. I've been practicing that for years. Do divination. While I go to the regular doctor, I also go to, first and foremost, I go to a lot of our healers in the community first. And so I try to triangulate anything that has to do with health for the most part. And I'm a basketball player from Racine, Wisconsin, so I had to let my Milwaukee folks know that and stuff when I get to meet them later on.
I'm a certified holistic nutritional counselor. I've been doing this work for 28 years. The healing started with me. At the age of 12, I started smoking weed heavily. At the age of 14, I started kicking it with my uncle, who was about 6 years older than me. So I was the only cat in Gary when my mama dropped me off that got to hang with 21, 22, 23, 24, 25-year-olds. So I learned how to drink real heavy. At the age of 16, I got severe allergies. I was already legally blind in my left eye. I was 2,200 until I had surgery at the age of 4. After the surgery on my left eye, I was 2,100. So I had thick pop bottle glasses. They used to call me Minor Bird. If anybody old enough to remember the Brady Bunch cartoons, it was that little bird who had the magician hat on. That's what I was called, Minor Bird. Well, I also gained 38 pounds. At the age of 26, I found a naturopathic doctor who was African-centered in 2.5 years. I cleared up the eyesight. All the allergy was gone. If you got any issues with an allergy, it's your liver. I cleaned it up, and I've been 38 pounds free ever since then. Ever since then, I've been healing the African community. I'm going to wait for all the questions so I can really get to work.
Thank you, brothers, for receiving me, man. We knew each other way before we got here. As soon as I got here, I felt y'all. So thank you for receiving me. First off, I'll start from the top. I am a human being, the best version of myself in every moment. That's what my main focus and mission is being a human being, the best version of myself in every moment. What I do for work, first, I work within myself, and then I show my work outside of myself. And oftentimes, for the last 20 years, people like my work. So I've been in the business of health and wellness, personal development, adolescent development. I've been in the work of co-parenting, leadership development for the past 20 years. And every day I get to wake up and just really be filled with the love of being able to connect with my people, stay grounded, stay healthy, and then figure out how we can help guide each other to the greatest versions of ourselves.
I'm Jay White, and I guess I'm a healer. So I had a recent bout with diabetes. I was diagnosed in March of this year with diabetes. And this was a result of not being able to get on the ground and do 10 push-ups. And if you don't exercise those muscles of doing push-ups, it's not kind of alien that you struggle to do some push-ups because those are muscles you're not used to using. But I was doing about 350 push-ups a day, and then all of a sudden I couldn't do 10. So I thought I had multiple sclerosis or something, like I'm deteriorating, losing weight. I mean, it's something, the elastic on your drawers is baggy. Like, I said, I'm in trouble. So I had to get serious about my health. Got checked in, they said you have diabetes. My sugar was almost 700. So the average for those who haven't gotten checked is between 75 and 110, 115. I was almost 700. My life changed in that moment. I went to work, start juicing. I do a green juice every day. We'll get into that in the discussion. But now I'll say that diabetes was the best thing that ever happened to me because it made me level up with me first. Like I do so many other things within that's external, but I wasn't doing the work internally. So now I've been able to not only transform my life, I reversed it in like 45, 60 days, but now I get a chance to help other people do the same thing. So I get calls daily for people who watch my journey. Not what you read, not what I said, not what somebody, you can watch a person's life transform. That's the evidence. So looking forward to getting into the discussion.
There's a lot of us, right, as it relates to our health. You know, we typically think of the standard healthcare system, right? You got to go to the doctor, see the doctor, and, you know, maybe if something happens to you, you got to go to the hospital, so on and so forth. Talk to us about how do the means of avoiding that, right? So when we talk about that holistic piece to avoid even ever seeing these health issues. So like, Baru, you just talked about, you know, the liver, right? Tell us what you all think in your journey, in this journey, what's most important on that part.
Yeah, but we good? The ancestors won't let me continue without giving homage, so give me about 15 seconds. John Burke's Dizzy Gillespie, that great trumpeter and composer and band leader, was born today in 1937. Can we get our Shay? Lucy Diggs Slow, our sister who was the dean of the Women's College at Howard University, who's the founder of the AKA Sorority, Inc. She transitioned today in 1937 at 52 of kidney failure. Can we say Ashe? It was also our brother, Ronald Irwin McNair, that brother who was from Lake City, South Carolina, who became a NASA astronaut and physicist who we lost very, very early on that Space Challenger in 1986. But today we celebrate him because it was his Earth Day in 1950. We say Ashe. Last but not least, Gaston Pearson, that great poet out of Washington, D.C. and activist. He actually transitioned today at 65 from lymphoma cancer in 1999. Can I get an Ashe? What it all comes down to is simply we have to be our own physicians. I've been watching for the last 10 years. We're in the midst of a health and wellness revolution, and I know everybody's been paying attention. People are taking matters of health into their own hands. We have to check ourselves on what we eat, most importantly, how we feel. When something ain't right, it's usually not right.
Right.
It's usually not right. So if you got to go to Western medicine to find out what it is and go to alternative means, it's important. But there's so many alternative measures to be able to take care of what it is that we need to take care of. So I feel that responsibility is on our lap in terms of what we consume, because 98% of the diseases are foodborne. Only 2% is genetic. 98% is that spoon and that fork and that knife. The number one killer, not rifles, not guns, not each other, is food. So we must eat to live and not live to eat.
Know thyself, know God. For me personally, my journey of health and wellness, which allowed me to stay out of the doctor's office, is a consistent pursuit and knowing who I am. How do I keep myself healthy if I don't know who to keep healthy? Like, who am I? Am I in alignment? Do I wake up every morning and am I in alignment with who I truly am? Am I living a lie? Do I have to put up a facade every day? Do I have to continue to put this wrapper around my true authentic self so that way I won't disappoint? And people that I care for won't be mad at me, or I won't be able to go to church on Sunday because they now know who I truly am. Like that stress that you wake up with, that right there is, in my opinion, where the sickness starts. When that trickles on to what am I going to do to soothe this every day? I have to wake up and ignore myself and not claim my space on this earth. That's not comforting. It's a disease to not claim your space on this earth. So in my personal experience and my own knowledge and awareness is knowing myself, being honest with myself, being true to myself so I can have self-reflection and really come back with an answer that resonates. So I can have self-awareness, so I can be aware of how I'm moving, so I can have self-accountability, so I can account for my behaviors and my actions, and then whenever I have to go back and recount, I can say, oh, this is why I did what I did, and this is why I did it, because I have intentions. When you understand yourself and you know yourself, you can be intentional about your every single movement. You are now being an artist of your own life. It's your stroke of the pen. I made this move, and this is why I made this move, because this is the outcome that I hope would come about with the collaboration of the universe that I have to interact with. And that accountability is where now we can get into, well, what does my body need so that way it can continue to live this life experience? And we're not in resistance and we're not fighting when somebody says, hey, or when I say to myself, that sugar, no. That stress from connecting with individuals and people that I keep them around just so they can affirm me because I don't have my own self-affirmation in place when I wake up in the morning. Yeah, now I can say, you know what? I don't need this relationship to affirm me. I know who I am. I stand in my truth. I stand in my power, and I know how to feed me, and I know what's nutritious for me.
Discipline is very important. You know, you can get easily knocked off your square. So discipline and balance. I've been knocked off my square. The divorce is the devil.
Check.
Though I was vegetarian for 30 plus years, and then you go through some stuff, and then when you fall off your square, and I was, to get that comfort, you become a starchitarian sometimes.
French fries?
Oh man, French fries? Like, oh man, I love me some French fries.
Thanks. See?
Eating that bread. And then I'm in academia, finishing a PhD, and I just went cerebral. I didn't play ball, I didn't do anything. I sat sedentary and just got out of shape. All of that was, I wasn't, from a disciplined life to not being balanced about being disciplined in all areas of life. So holistic, as we're talking about, meaning every area of your life you need to really take care of. And so, so being holistic, you know, you take care of the various aspects of your life. And so I've had to get back up and not just be cognitive, not just be mental, deal with all of the emotional stuff and the stress and from all kind of relationships and this, that, and the other, and get back on my square, get back into the community, make sure my children are straight, and make sure my health is straight every day, doing what you just said. One of the key things, my last piece to this, is my mother had diabetes.
Mine too.
And, you know, sticking the needles in her stomach, all of this type stuff. She's 85 right now. Then the doctor told her, oh, you need to change your diet. So she went vegan for a year. So, you know, I'm vegan, so I'm just like, no problem, I got you. Then after a year, they're like, we can't find this diabetes that you say you have. You see what I'm saying? So it goes back to what you're saying. Food is our medicine. And so we need to look at our food as medicine. I've always known what to do. There are times you fall off your square and don't do the things that you know, and you have to be reinforced by your communities, your brothers, your sisters, and so on and so forth. So being balanced and disciplined is very important.
Real quick, piggyback off of that. So my mom, diabetic, her mom diabetic, her mom diabetic. My mother's sisters, diabetic, 4 transitioned from cancer. 4. And I look at, it made me start to do a deeper dive. You talk about sugar. I'm like, man, we didn't have a chance when you were raised on prizes in the cereal. You know, prizes in the Cracker Jack. Like everything is to get you hooked on sugar. It starts, I'm talking about, as soon as they run on commercials, man, we used to have the honeycomb, the Alfie bike reflectors, like the license plate, anything to get that toy. But it wasn't about the toy, it was getting you hooked on the sugar. Man, that sugar, listen, man. So, let me just say this, and I'll pass the mic. Whatever illness you're dealing with right now, it is not a death sentence. It's not a death sentence. But it's you versus you. Like, I knew it was me versus me. What you eat ain't gonna make me go to the bathroom, and vice versa, right? And to the success story, so I got my mom eating, she'll say this till she go to her grave, I eat Southern American. I don't want no Japanese food. I don't want no Thai food. Like, give me some chicken, some okra. But I put her on avocado. Avocado, if you look up the number one food for diabetics, avocado is number one. The food you eat. And I think that's what really helped to reverse the diabetes for me. And now my mom eats them, the Southern American. She won't go a day without eating them. Right, so we can get into the conversation, man. But man, you versus you, man. How bad do you want it? Discipline. I heard discipline. Nothing great happens without that anyway. Mally always talks about habits, rituals, and discipline. What are your habits? What are your rituals? What are your disciplines? And it goes back to eating, right?
And I think it's important for us to have, some of us that don't have any habits, rituals, or disciplines as they relate to our holistic selves, give us what those are for you guys, where you start, so the habits, rituals, and disciplines as they relate to what you eat, even how you start your day, right? Because I think that's kind of I've gotten really deep into the habit of those breaths that we took at the beginning. I do that every morning when I wake up, and it seems to do something for me. I can't put a finger on it, but I know it makes me feel better. So that's what I start my day with as a habit. But talk a little bit about what your habits, rituals, and disciplines are.
Real quick, easy. So number one, my feet don't hit the floor. I have a pillow by my bed. I roll out of bed on my knees just to say thank you, right? After that, I'll say my prayers, then I go outside and I just breathe the air. I let my dog out in the morning. I just smell the air and just spirit of gratitude. So for me, it's just spirit of gratitude. Then I'll go take a walk, and then I'll get on these push-ups.
Wake up and just lay in the bed with thinking nothing first. Then put my feet on the ground. Then I immediately go to my altars, do libation, prayers. And when I'm disciplined, every human needs to do at least 20 minutes of meditation every day. It's like water. You need it. You should have it when I'm disciplined. Right? But I do everything, but sometimes that meditation, that get me. So that's why I do that. When I wake up in the morning, I just stay still for about 10, 20 minutes, just in case I don't get the meditation on. And then I do my libations and my prayers. Then I get out there and run and walk. And hopefully later on that day, I get the push-ups in and all of that. But those are the first things I do. I also drink water. I drink a cup of water first, and then 30 minutes later, drink my water. When I take my shower and do all of that, I drink another cup of water. So about 3 to 4 cups of water within the first 90 minutes to 2 hours. So my body is ready to move things out, and as I bring things in.
Sure. So I'll tell you what I am disciplined about. The moment I open up my eyes, I'm in gratitude. And I give thanks for living life in the way that I'm living it. Because I know I could be living life in a different space, in a different headspace, in a different circumstance. And so I just give thanks and gratitude that I am waking up in the morning with the tools and the health and the space that I have in that moment. And I know at that place, wherever I go for the rest of the day, I'm on good footing because I'm standing on what I built the day before. Intentions. I set intentions immediately. what are my intentions for my existence that day? Like, how do I want to feel? How do I want to be today? And it didn't make any sense for me to want to be anything other than love. So my first intention is to love myself. And then I move through the day, and every decision I make, I relax, because if I'm making it in love, I can't go wrong. And that allows me the flexibility to kind of like let life do what it's got to do. And, you know, sometimes it's got to be flexible and things might not work out, but it's okay because everything's in love. So I have, the first thing I do is I'm in gratitude, I'm setting my intentions in love, and then everything outside of that day is in service. Everything I do is I'm serving a purpose that's greater than myself. I'm staying connected to the all. And be honest with you, the rest of my day just kind of get real phenomenal after that. Like all kinds of stuff be popping off that I don't even expect. I say all the time, you can't make this up. So yeah, that's the things that I'm disciplined on. Oh, and the water. Like the first thing I do in the morning is I'm drinking some clean, unpolluted water. Well water or spring water. And that's guaranteed. And I might not eat for another 11, 12 hours, but I'm guaranteed to have this water. All right?
You hear a lot of people say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. The word spirit, because this bastard language called English is derived from Latin, it comes from the Latin word spirare, which means to breathe. So like these brothers, when I wake up, see, my altar is right next to my bed, so I have no excuse. So before I go to bed on my dress, I have 32 ounces of water. When I wake up, I take it to the head within 15 seconds. After that, shave, brush my teeth, and then get to that altar, spend 30 minutes. Turn my music on, I go within. Call out to the Neteru and Orishas. I'm a child of Ogun, so I'm doing that work. Then my day gets started. I have 5 clients right now. One is 73, one is 65, one is 67, one is 66, and one is 55. Out of the 5, 3 of them have kidney disease. Out of the 5, they all have high blood pressure, they all have high cholesterol, and they all have diabetes. One of them, diabetes was gone in 14 days. Gout was gone in 3 weeks. He's off of all medication. He couldn't move. He couldn't get out of his Jeep. He's driving 18-wheeler trucks now in 2 months. He's 67. What's my point? It has to do with this. It is war, gentlemen. We talk about revolution in so many facets, but the one thing we run from is health. I see it in their eyes. You run from it. You don't want to have these conversations. Why I say we at war? There's no accidents. When you look in African neighborhoods, there's more liquor stores and more fast food restaurants. Why? Because it's an attack on the melanin. I'm going to give you a nugget because we're miseducated. Medical doctors who don't even go through specialization go to medical school for 4 years and they spend 2 work weeks on nutrition.
Wow.
If they get specialized and do 6 years of medical training, guess how much they get? 2 work weeks on nutrition. When you go to the doctor, why you think they have nothing to say? Because they are as ignorant as you, so we must be educated. So let me give you a nugget in 30 seconds. We are humans. That's 2 words. H-U, you take off that E, that means of earth. Man, we're in a patriarchal sexist society, so they say man, you mean man and woman. We are people of the earth. On an average, a heartbeat is 72 beats per minute, and the pulse is 18. That's a 4-to-1 ratio. The earth rotates 4 degrees every minute. From 4 a.m. to noon, the body is in a cleansing phase. It is called a circadian rhythm. We are in tune with the sun. You are supposed to be cleansing. When were you fasting? When you were asleep. So you were supposed to break the fast. Standard American diet has you eating grits and bacon and chips and biscuits and everything else, and you're supposed to be consuming cleansing foods. Water, teas, and fruits, nothing else until high noon. Everybody remember the Westerns, the OK Karate would come and duel at high noon. The body is on fire from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's the digestive phase. That's when you eat your most meals. when the sun is on fire. And then you got your third phase. It's called the assimilation phase. This is from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. This is most of us die from breakfast and eating dinner because we eat garbage in the morning and we eat late at night. The stomach and the digestive system is shut down after 8. Guess what got to take it over? The liver. The liver don't know how to digest food. The liver has over 500 functions, so it has to take it over and it becomes toxified. So that food that we eat, and we've all been there, including myself, that food that you eat, it sits in your stomach and it rots until you get up in the morning. But if you ain't eating cleansing foods, that SHIT you ate yesterday and the day before yesterday and the day before yesterday and the day before yesterday, it sits in you. And what does it equal? Dis-ease.
But I want to tap in on what we're putting on our bodies, how our pores open up, all of the inorganic cotton that we're using, all the blended cotton that we're using. What is your take on the different dyes that are used that aren't from the earth that we're putting on our bodies compared to what we're putting in our bodies?
The second largest organ is the liver. It's also the largest gland. Does anybody know what the largest organ on the body is? The skin. It's the most neglected. The cosmetic industry is $1 billion industry to get you to put stuff on your face, but the skin is a mirror. Whatever's going on the inside is going on the outside, and the face tells a tale. Putting dyes, putting lotion. Why? Look on the back of lotion. If you see lanolin, that is the inside of sheepskin. They scrape the dead sheep in that sheepskin oil and they put it in lotion. You know what lanolin does? It makes black people more ashy. And it penetrates into 3 layers of your skin. You have the epidermis, underneath it you got the dermis, and underneath that you got the subcutaneous layer. That's if you get cut real deep and you see the white. So how do? You need to sweat. If there's high intensity, when the elders, I sat at the elders' feet in Brooklyn, 23 years ago, they took me to the Turkish and Russian bathhouse in New York. We spent 5 hours in there, and ever since then, I've been every week for 23 years. Those that know me know I don't play with that. I spend minimum 5 hours in there because the largest organ on the skin needs to be detoxified. So regardless of what you're wearing, regardless of what you're eating, you got to take care of that skin, and the way you do it is through sweating.
Back in 2000 and maybe 15, I was introduced to a beautiful place in Atlanta called the Guru, the Sweat Lodge. Anybody ever been there? Underneath Baba Pugh? That's my elder. So that water, the consuming of water, the exercise, the sweating, the detoxing of the mind, I haven't really gotten into it that far, but into the dyes and the cons. But I know what I've been doing thus far, it hasn't even made it come up on my radar. I'm not just saying it's not having an effect, but what I've been doing thus far, waking up in the morning, sitting underneath the sun, praying underneath the sun, drinking my water, making sure I'm exercising, sweating, going to the sweat lodge, meditating, those things thus far has sustained me until I get to a point where I can sit with brothers like yourself and you can educate me further.
My question is on intermittent fasting. I noticed how you said how like you'll fast like for like 11 hours or something like that.
Most of the time I do 16.
Okay. And my question was like on what are like your thoughts on like fasting, because and Barbara, you kind of answered my question like and starting at noon like to eat, but I was wondering like what are your thoughts on intermittent fasting?
In fact, I was walking in here today and one of the elders rolled up on me, and I've known her for years. She's like, "Man, you lost some weight." I said, "That's what healing do to you." You know, you release that extra baggage, and fasting it's part of regulating the gut. You know, our gut is so important. You know, majority of our hormones come out of our gut. So if you want to talk about behavior, and you want to talk about neurotransmitters, you know, all of this comes out of the gut first. So gut health is where your health really begins. And so fasting, allowing my gut to rest, giving it that time not only while I'm sleeping, but then when I'm breaking my fast, water, fruits, and then yes, around maybe like 1 o'clock, I'll go ahead and I'll eat me a nice meal, and I do my best to finish my meals before 8 o'clock. So it's in alignment. Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like I love fasting, but I would always say, man, learn yourself and learn your body. So that make sure that you're fasting and according to who you are.
So in terms of the numbers on fruits in the grocery store, you have 4s, you have 3s, you have 9s. Can you inform us on how important it is to try to eat according to those numbers when it comes to eating healthily, and how much worse is conventional fruits than organic fruit? How much worse is it for your body?
The 3s, if you can help it, don't ever touch a 3. It's sprayed with, I mean, that's the worst. That's like the bottom of the barrel in terms of how many pesticides are used to bring that fruit. And it's imported. Most of this stuff is being imported, right? So let me deal with that for a minute. When you talk about imports, and fruit has a shelf life. So let's take bananas for instance. They are green as that bag, and I mean they're really green, but by the time they get to us, they're starting to turn yellow. Well, think about the region and how far they had to come so that we would want to buy it. Because, we're in capitalism. Let's be clear. This is all about money. The 3s, stay away from it. The 4s, it's a step up, but still got a lot of spray with pesticides and chemicals to make sure that it can have a longer shelf life so that we can go and buy it. The 9s represent the organics, quote unquote. So if you see 9s, the little sticker and it says 9 on it, that's quote unquote organic. But to me, it's all a game, for real, because it all goes through the USDA, which is an organization that get money, right? So your best bet is to get ready to unplug or grow your own food. That way you know where it come from. But even that, you got to know where your seeds come from. Are they heirloom seeds? Are they cross-pollinated seeds, right? Or open pollinated, not cross, but open pollinated, which means, think of an heirloom. If I'm passing down a family heirloom, that means that if I plant this and I extract a seed from it, if I plant it again, that means it'll grow again. It'll keep on producing, right? Versus what's in the earth now, these GMOs, or genetically modified organisms, that once you plant it, it'll harvest, but you can't take any of the corn. Like if you grow a stalk of corn, you can't take the seed from that and replant it. It ain't going, because it's not a real seed, right? So you got to be mindful about what you put in your body. And listen, damn it, stop going to the store and buying seedless fruit. Everything God made, even us, we a seed. You understand? Man, it's seedless. I'm too lazy to spit out the seeds, nigga. What are we doing? So all I'm saying, man, is just be mindful. Get with some farmers. We have a lot of farmers here in Atlanta, so make sure y'all connect with this brother. Once we leave this space, we're going to go upstairs, and we're going to still politic and network, but get connected with some farmers, man. And I got some seeds, too, and I don't know everything about gardening, but I do have one, and stuff is growing in my garden, so, yeah, man.
Some of us got to be up till 2 in the morning. You see what I'm saying? How do you correct that mental state? When you see where I'm going with it? That's what I'm asking. And that goes with the food. That goes with every decision after that,
Do you have an altar? Do you have an ancestral altar? You got to have space where that energy is working with you throughout the day. I just said you need 20 minutes minimum of meditation every day, no matter what's going on in your world. What occurs is it shifts your entire world. It shifts your creation of your world, your universe. So I would start there.
So what I recommend to all my clients, if you have to eat, first thing is don't eat anything that has been killed. It has no fiber. It's not moving already. At night, it's really not moving, so it's just rotten. So if you gotta eat, go to those things that you're supposed to eat during break fast. Your juices, your fruits. Even if you went to a salad, it's gonna digest much faster when you get to the cleansing phase as it do that. But don't have the same habit as you do from 12 to 8 when the sun is on fire and your body's on fire. Be more mindful of what you consume so when you wake up, you're not sluggish. If you notice sometimes you don't eat a lot and you feel real perky, but then you eat real heavy and you feel real crazy, it's because of that. So just be more mindful on what you eat, brother.
So I just want to tie in last week's discussion a little bit with this week and how it deals with nutrition, in that the behavioral problems that are showing up in our youth, our own emotional problems. Can you speak to how holistic treatment can deal with those?
Okay. But I will give you this, and it might piggyback or veggie back off what you said. What do you see as chaos? Chaos is a label. You actually called it chaos. So, and that's not an issue, but understand what the purpose of chaos is. Chaos is the eve to birth. Because energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transformed. So understand how you're thinking about your day. If you look at your day as chaos, who created the chaos? You. You know what I'm saying? You did. So first take account. What was my intentions when I woke up this rising, and how did it get chaotic? And then self-reflect, and you learn your lesson, and then recalibrate, and get back on your square. So that way now you're not looking at challenges, contrasts, things that you didn't quite expect. You're not looking at it as chaotic. You're looking at it as these are lessons and these are reflections to tell me where I got to do my work. And then it's going to enable you to then get back to, okay, how do I got to feed my body so that way I can continue to get where I need to be. I hope that helped a little bit.
Is like maybe places like DeKalb Farmers Market or some of the other, I know some of the other cultures, they may have farmers markets, but it may not say organic on their food in their farmers markets. Would those be okay places to buy food? Where can we be able to buy food that we could be able to trust until we can be able to grow our own food in our gardens? And if so, can you direct us to that?
You have 2 brains in the body. This is your first brain. This is your central nervous system. Starting with your esophagus to your stomach, your small intestine, your large intestine, your gallbladder, and your pancreas. It is called an enteric nervous system. Everything that you put in here is a nervous system that feeds your first brain. This is why babies can't sit still. When I was teaching at Westlake, I had 14 to 18-year-olds couldn't sit still. Why? They come in the morning, they got Cheetos, they got Doritos, they got candy, they got white sugar. Now, Dick Gregory blew my mind. We brought him out to California. He pulled out a green book, and it was the U.S. government deadliest chemicals in the world. White sugar was number 4. Over plutonium. I'll let that marinate. To your question, brother, the way I do it, Jay brought up a good point. See, I don't play with these folks. I got a pendulum in my right pocket. You can pull all the stickers off. I put that pendulum on it, it tells me exactly which one is organic. So all I could really say is go buy one that's reputable, a place that's reputable, brother. Go buy, and Whole Foods ain't reputable no more. China bought them out. They selling garbage. They're selling garbage. The DeKalb Farmers Market is your best bet. That's where I shop. I go to Sprouts, and it doesn't matter, I test them out for myself. So I would say by reputation and just hoping, just listen to people and pass the word or whatever, and you'll kind of know where you're going.
Mr. Bobby Wilson, right here on Main Street in College Park, he has Metro Atlanta Urban Farms. I'd say him first, or Baba Truly Living Well, Robert Rashid Nuri, right? They're going to be able to point you to people, or Ross Kofi. All these men have been here in the space and have heirlooms, or they have seedlings. So you don't have to necessarily start from ground zero, but they have the seedling, which is actually a plant, or it is already sprouted. And then you go and you pot that, or put it in a pot around some soil. Hopefully it's worm compost or something like that. But this brother right here, again, I'm going to definitely point y'all to him because farmers are interconnected. Actually, you at Metro Atlanta Urban Farm. I forgot about that. But yeah, man, farmers, man, if you cannot afford to go to the farmers market, which that's where I'm there 3-4 times a week. But if you cannot afford to go to the farmers market, contact your local farmer. And you brought up, man, an amazing point. No, you did. You brought up an amazing point. Eat to the season. Quit trying to eat watermelon in December. That's not your ministry. That's not your ministry. That's good, man. Eat for the season. And then I don't know how accurate it is, but it's got to be accurate because I saw it with my own 2 eyes. I just didn't research it, but your organs are in the shapes of the fruits and vegetables that you should be consuming, right? Like your eggplants and you can match up what you should be eating with your organs. And that's basically what will feed that particular organ.
I'm a link in this chain. And it won't break here. I'm a link in this chain. And it won't break here. We are links in this chain. And we won't break here. Ashe.